So recently I was browsing Amazon and I stumbled upon something that caught my attention. Take a look at this. So here we have a fully functioning video camera for only £4. So naturally I had a few questions. Firstly, how good is it? And secondly, can I use it to shoot a YouTube video? So let's take a look at the product page. So it's titled Digital Kids Camera Camcorder Small Sturdy Children Video Camera 2-inch IPS Screen Playback for Outdoor. Pretty good title. And it's £4. So here we go, let's order one. Let's see if it's got any specs. So it's got a CMOS sensor. It can shoot in JPEG and MP4, which is pretty standard. And in terms of image stabilization, it says it's got digital stabilization, which I will test. It also says that it has a 1/2.3-inch sensor, which is small, but it's not that small. If we have a look at this GoPro Hero 9 from a couple of years ago, this actually has the same size sensor. So who knows, is it going to be the same quality as this GoPro? And down here it says that it's got manual exposure control, which I doubt. And I found another lie in the description. It says the color is black, silver and white. But if you have a look at the image, it's just pink and yellow. Bruh. Also, it doesn't specify the resolution anywhere. So I have no idea if it shoots 1080p, 4K, 480p. Who knows? But at least it's not over promising. Let's take a look at the product photos. So it's got an interesting design. It's like an old fashioned camcorder with a flip out screen. It's got a hand strap and it's a very interesting pink and yellow design, which, yeah, I'll take what I'm given. It's only £4. On the bottom, it looks like a micro SD card slot and a mini USB port. And here is an image of it floating in milk. Pretty interesting. In the box, it should have the camcorder and a strap and a wrist strap and a USB cable. Right, now we just need to wait for it to arrive. Oh. So here it is. Let's put this to the side. Right, let's take a look inside the box. So it actually looks like it's been left in a warehouse for a number of years. Like the packaging's really faded and there's some like yellowing tape, which is a bit concerning. At least the picture on the front is similar to the Amazon listing. And then on the side it has the various different color combinations. We have the yellow and pink version. And then on this side it says video capture, photo capture, connect to your computer, and then inbuilt rechargeable lithium ion polymer battery. So that's actually quite interesting. It's got a rechargeable battery, so I'm hoping that it works. Otherwise this camera isn't going to be usable. And then it also says children's digital camera. So I think this is aimed at children, if I'm going to take a wild guess. All right, let's try and get into the box. So I'm going to need something sharp to cut the tape. I've got a screwdriver. Hopefully this does the job. There we go. Okay, let's see what's inside. There we go. So that is what is inside the box. So we have the camcorder itself. A wrist strap and a micro USB cable. So I assume that's everything. Have a look. Oh no, I lie. Hiding under this bit of plastic was the hand strap and a small instruction booklet. Let's see if this gives us any more information on the camera itself. So this instruction manual is suggesting this can shoot up to 12 megapixel stills and 720p video, which we'll be testing. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the £4 camera itself. So we're going to attach this wrist strap to the side of it. So these just clip in. That's quite a nice mechanism actually. Try and show it to the camera. It's got a little quick release mechanism for the hand strap. Like that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I've done it the wrong way. There. So we've got the hand strap. I can tell this is for children because I don't think my hand even fits into it properly. I mean, I don't know if you can hear, but it's made out of quite hollow feeling plastic, but it doesn't feel terrible. And it does appear to look very similar to the Amazon listing, which is a good thing. At least I've been sent the right product. Yeah, so we've got a camera lens on the front, the strap on the side. On the bottom, just like the Amazon listing, there is the SD card slot and the charging port. I don't know if it'll focus, but here it looks like either speaker or microphone holes. And then on the top there is a record button. It actually doesn't feel terrible. And then there's the screen on the side. So let's open it up. So the 2-inch IPS screen. And then there's some controls. So there's like arrow buttons, power button, and then an M button. There's also a screen stick on the screen, which we're going to peel off. There we go. I mean, yeah, this doesn't feel terrible. It feels plasticky, but for £4, I was expecting worse. The screen doesn't rotate or anything. It just sort of opens and closes, but the hinge does feel fairly solid. It feels like it would survive a couple of drops, actually, to be honest. All right, the moment of truth. Does this thing actually have any battery? So we're going to hold the power button and see if it boots up. Oh, it does. What happened there? It just turned itself off. All right, it's coming up with the battery low on the screen, so we're going to go and charge it for maybe about half an hour, and then test it out. Let's plug the charger in. Right, so here it is with some battery. Let's turn it on. So it's actually quite interesting. We've got a photo mode, a video mode, playback mode, music, games, and settings. So I'm actually most intrigued by the game, so we're going to click on it. Oh, it looks like we've got snake game. No idea what this is. Some guy pushing some boxes. What looks like a maze, and then an aeroplane. Okay, right, should we start with the snake game? Oh, it's literally like the same snake you'd get on an old Nokia. That's pretty cool. I mean, the menu's fairly responsive. All right, let's try this game. I mean, it's not terrible for a game on a camera for £4. This is actually quite impressive, and the screen doesn't look terrible. It is small, but it's not super dim. The viewing angle's a bit rubbish though. I'm actually interested what this aeroplane game is. You know what? This is actually impressing me so far. Right, I'm genuinely intrigued what this music icon does, whether or not this is like an MP3 player, because there's no headphone jack, and the speakers are pretty basic, like an 8-bit speaker. Oh, it's just turned itself off. I mean, my assumption is that you can load music onto this thing, which is interesting. So we're now going to take a look at the settings. So this is actually quite interesting. So for size, it says 20M. So this camera thinks that it's going to be taking 20 megapixel pictures, which I doubt. It's also got a capture timer mode, which is off at the moment. Resolution, so 1080p. Let's see if we can change that. So you can change it from 1080p to 720p to VGA. So we're going to leave it at 1080p. Timestamp, so I think that's like if you want the date and time at the bottom of the image, which I actually don't want because it'll probably be wrong. Oh, and an option to format the SD card, and you can set the time and date. And then a system version. So that's actually quite a lot of settings for such a cheap camera. So there we go, we're in the photo mode. And my first impression is it actually doesn't look terrible. I mean, for a £4 camera, I was actually expecting a lot worse. Obviously the image isn't great, and there's a lot of rolling shutter, and it's probably only producing like a 12 frame per second image on the screen. But I mean, it's working, and that's more than I was expecting for this camera. All right, so far I'm actually impressed with this camera. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So now we're gonna go out and test the image quality. So we're filming in 1080p. Let's get some cinematic dog footage. On the viewfinder, it's filming at about 10 FPS. See if we can vlog. One thing I have noticed is the battery's not great. I've been charging it for about an hour, so it's used half the battery in about 5 minutes, which isn't good. Before it runs out of battery, we're going to test out the photos. There we go. Yeah, I couldn't catch that because there's a delay between pressing the capture button and actually taking a photo. It's really annoying that you can't tilt the screen up or down. And on the listing it said manual exposure controls, and I'm not seeing any exposure controls whatsoever. Also says it's 20 megapixel. Let's get another one. Let's get some pictures of the trees to check the dynamic range. I don't think the dynamic range is going to be very good. So in this video we're testing out the £4 camera. Let me know what you think of the footage. Here we have the Panasonic S5 Mark II with a 20 to 60 millimeter lens on. I think it looks pretty good. Problem is, because it's designed for kids, it doesn't fit on my hand properly. It's a bit sharp. In this video we're going to be revisiting the PS5 in 2025. We're going to be looking at the gaming performance, checking out the controller, and taking a look at up and coming games. So I've just got back from testing this ultra budget £4 camcorder, and my first impressions are actually positive. I think it's doing more than I expected it to do. In terms of the overall user experience, it's been very simple to use. It's basically just got a record button. You can take photos, videos. So a few things that I've noticed. One, the battery life isn't great, but I didn't expect much. So it does come with a rechargeable lithium-ion battery inside it. And I was charging it for about an hour on the way to film the footage, and it only lasted about 20 minutes before needing to be charged again. Another thing that I noticed is that if you record at 1080p, the frame rate is a bit choppy. I think it records at close to about 10 frames per second. Whereas if you go into the settings and drop it down to 720p, then it's a smoother recording experience. But yeah, apart from that, for £4, it's actually very impressive. So this is the camera set up on a tripod in the studio. What do you think? Could it replace my Panasonic camera? All right, so in conclusion, what do I think of this £4 video camera? Well, I'm actually quite impressed. For £4, it can shoot video, it can take photos. The quality's definitely not very good, but if you remember on the Amazon page, it didn't even specify what quality it recorded in. But I think as a video camera for kids, which is what it's advertised as, it does a pretty good job of that. The build quality is not terrible. It feels like it will survive a couple of drops. The user interface is easy to use, and it comes with pre-installed games. So I didn't think I'd actually say this, but I would actually recommend this to the right person. So I would say this is probably a perfect device for maybe a 5-year-old, 6-year-old who doesn't have a smartphone with a camera, that is potentially interested in just having a very cheap, durable, easy to use point and shoot camera for not very much money. So yeah, I would say this camera definitely does have an audience, and I'd love to hear what your opinion is on this camera in the comments section below. And if you have enjoyed, be sure to drop us a like, consider subscribing. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see everyone in my next video.